We are down to the final 8 teams that will go head-to-head in 4 quarterfinal matches. Here are the final 8 teams. The odds makers have England as the favorites to win it all currently. Then they have Spain as the second likeliest to win it all. Here are the rest of the teams listed as favored to win by the odds makers. Before we get ahead of ourselves, let's see how the quarterfinal matchups look and who we feel is likely to advance based on more than what the bookies say. The first quarterfinal matchup is between Netherlands and Spain. Netherlands is the winner of Group E, and Spain was the runner-up in Group C. Solely looking at FIFA rankings from early June 2023, Netherlands had the harder group to advance out of. The average ranking for Group E was 15.75 with a median of 15. Whereas for Group C, the average was 32.5 and a median of 23.5. The lowest ranked team for Group E was Vietnam at 32, and for Group C, it was Zambia at 77. Netherlands also faced the reigning champs and was able to pull out a draw. While the Spanish have only lost one match so far this tournament, it was a hefty loss to Japan, which is the highest ranked team they faced with a FIFA rank of 11. The Dutch have not lost a game this tournament. The only match they haven't won was the draw against USA. FIFA rankings have their drawbacks, so let's look at performance ratings so far this tournament. The ratings are from who scored. Their model scores theoretically from 0 to 10, but mostly scores will fall between 6 to 8. The 6 to 6.9 range is average, where 7 to 7.99 is good, and 5 to 5.9 is poor. Now, to give you an idea how this works, here's how it is distributed. It's not quite a normalized bell curve, but most of the ratings will fall between 6 and 6.9. Accounting for all the matches played to the round of 16, Netherlands are the highest rated team with a rating of 7.22. Spain's rating is 5th out of the remaining 8 teams at 7.05. So what does this all mean? Netherlands is performing well, getting results when needed. Spain are good against lower ranked teams, but have struggled when going against better teams. So what can we expect from this match? Out of the remaining teams, the Spain team has the highest percentage of possession in their matches at 76%, in true Spanish football fashion. They've got the most shots per game, easily surpassing all the others with 26 shots per match. But many of these aren't high-quality chances, with less than half on target at only 9.3 shots per match on target, which is about 36%. About a third of their shots are from outside of the 18, but they've only converted 1 to a goal all tournament. They had a solid win against Switzerland, scoring 5 goals, and even one for Switzerland as well. For the Dutch, they're comfortable in possession and on the counter. So far, they have around 63% possession for their 4 matches. Even in the match against USA, they had more possession than the champs at 54%. It is unlikely they will sit back and allow Spain to have the ball for a majority of the match. Netherlands are averaging 18.3 shots per game with 40% of those on target. Overall, this will be a fairly evenly matched game. Both teams will look to have possession, more so Spain, but both are getting around 70% of their shots per game from open play, with less than 1% per game from counterattacks. Defensively, Netherlands has the edge, as the only test to Spain has been Japan, and they caved. Netherlands has 25.5 tackles per game compared to Spain's 16.5. And Netherlands gets about 11 interceptions per game to Spain's 6.8 interceptions per game. Netherlands has only conceded 1 goal. Spain has conceded 5 goals with 1 own goal. Spain is vulnerable to the counter, having conceded 2 goals that way. This will be a close match. Whomever can best capitalize on a counterattack will be the likeliest to win, in my opinion. If Netherlands is able to score within the first 20 minutes, they'll likely come out the victors. In each of their matches, they've scored the first goal within the first 17 minutes, and Spain's 2 center backs have been their worst performing players this tournament. Verdicts are in. We are picking Netherlands as the very narrow winner of this match. The second quarterfinal match will be between Sweden and Japan. This is a battle of 2 World Cup stalwarts. Japan most recently won in 2011. With a lot of veterans departing, they are in the midst of a rebuild with a young squad. Sweden most recently placed 3rd in the 2019 World Cup. They have the ability for big wins, but tend to fade come the latter stages of the tournament. Looking at their ratings, Japan are second with a rating of 7.16, and Sweden are seventh with a rating of 6.9. Let's see how they compare. Japan comes into this match having won Group C, and then beating Norway in the round of 16. They've won all of their matches, only conceding one goal from their match against Norway. Japan has maintained possession for less than half of the time, only keeping it around 48%. In their 4-round match against Spain, they only have possession for 32% of the time. They don't mind sitting back and absorbing pressure for a bit to hit on the counter. They've scored 3 of their goals on the counterattack. But they are just as capable of working the ball and scoring from open play, scoring 9 goals that way. They're getting about 18 shots per match, with 8 of those on target. They'll be a steady threat to Sweden. Their attack comes down the left side more often, with Endo and Miyazawa getting forward. This will be a constant test for Sweden's center backs. Only 28% of their shots are from outside of the 18. This is a well-balanced team. The only concern can be their relative youth. Their average age is 25.2 years old, whereas Sweden's is 28.5 years old. Sweden has slayed one giant this tournament in the biggest upset and shock to the world, ousting USA in penalties. While Sweden didn't claim many shots that match, with only 1 on goal, they did what was needed to see out the match and convert their penalties. They've made it through many of their matches, scoring from a set piece, with a total of 4 from set pieces. The Swedes are likely to exploit their height advantage against the Japanese, as the average height for the Swede is 1.714 centimeters compared to Japan's 164.7 centimeters. Sweden has won 14 aerial duels to Japan's 11. Sweden has about 53% possession for their matches, with 13 shots per game. They keep their shots from outside the box to 29%, and they've yet to score a goal there. Defensively, the Japanese have forced their opponents to take almost half of their shots from outside the 18, about 46%. So we can expect them to force Sweden to do this also. Japan have only allowed 6 shots per game for their opponents, whereas Sweden has allowed 12.5 shots per match from their opponents. Japan has 15.5 tackles per game and 12.3 interceptions. Sweden has matched Japan in tackles, but only has 9.5 interceptions per match. A concern for Sweden may be their fouls. They've committed more fouls, with 14.5 per match compared to Japan's 5. This may prove costly if they commit these in a favorable area for the Japanese to score from a set piece. This match could come down to the imbalance in experience and height, with the Japanese on the short end of the stick for these. They've got the better quality players overall, though, and they've consistently played well in the tournament with a strong showing against Spain and Norway. Verdict is in. Our prediction for this match is Japan as the winners. Well, that's a wrap for the first 2 matches of the quarterfinals. Who do you feel will win from each of these? If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks!